90 seconds. That's all the time they had before their bodies absorbed a lethal dose of radiation. 3 men sprint across the reactor roof at Chernobyl. Their mission: clear radioactive debris with nothing but shovels. The Geiger counter screams. 15,000 Roentgens per hour, enough to kill in minutes. These weren't volunteers, they were liquidators. The first of 600,000 soldiers and workers. April 26, 1986, Chernobyl nuclear power plant, Soviet Ukraine. Reactor 4 was conducting a safety test. The irony would become deadly clear. At 1:23 a.m., the reactor core exploded. The blast tore through the building like a bomb. Graphite blocks weighing tons were hurled hundreds of feet. The core was exposed to the night sky. What happened next created the most radioactive place on Earth, a zone of death 50 times more contaminated than Hiroshima. The Soviet Union faced an impossible choice: let the radiation spread across Europe, or send men into hell. They chose to sacrifice their own. 600,000 liquidators would answer the call. This is their story. The men who walked into radiation to save the world. If you're finding value in this, hit subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next. As the radiation readings climbed beyond comprehension, Soviet officials faced a terrifying reality. The reactor core was spewing death across Europe. Someone had to go in and stop it. Their first solution seemed logical: send in the machines. German and Japanese robots, the most advanced technology available, rolled toward the reactor roof. Within minutes, they were dead. The radiation fried their circuits instantly. The Soviets had told the robot manufacturers the radiation was 3 times lower than reality. With technology failing, they turned to something more expendable: human beings. Across the Soviet Union, recruitment officers began their deadly hunt for volunteers. They promised construction work, good pay, service to the motherland. They never mentioned the radiation. They never mentioned Chernobyl. Within weeks, trains packed with unsuspecting soldiers rolled toward Ukraine. Most were barely 20 years old. They had no idea they were riding toward death. The Soviet machine had found its solution: human bio-robots. 600,000 lives were about to be fed into the nuclear furnace. As we discussed, the Soviet machine had mobilized 600,000 souls. Now came the impossible tasks that would define their fate. Mission 1: clear the reactor roof, the most radioactive place on Earth. Robots sent up first simply died. The radiation was so intense it killed electronic circuits in seconds. Only humans could survive long enough to throw the debris. Soldiers were given lead vests and told they had 90 seconds. 90 seconds between life and certain death. Mission 2: dive into the flooded reactor basement. 2 men volunteered for what everyone knew was suicide: Alexei Ananenko and Valery Bespalov. Engineers turned heroes. They had to find the drainage valves in pitch darkness. If they failed, the molten core would hit groundwater. The resulting explosion would make Hiroshima look like a firecracker. They dove into water so radioactive it glowed, found the valves, opened them, and somehow miraculously survived. Mission 3: entomb the reactor. Build a concrete sarcophagus around death itself. Workers called it the nuclear coffin. But the human cost was already mounting. Within hours, liquidators began showing symptoms: nausea, headaches, skin burns. Their hair fell out in clumps. Their skin peeled away like old paint. They were dying from the inside out. The first wave of liquidators suffered the worst fate. Many were dead within weeks. Others would die slowly over years. Yet still they came, still they worked. But as the liquidators risked everything, Soviet leadership had a different priority. Not saving lives, not telling the truth, but protecting the reputation of the Soviet Union. The cover-up began immediately. Radiation readings were classified at the highest levels. Liquidators were sworn to absolute secrecy about what they witnessed in the zone. They were forbidden from discussing radiation levels, forbidden from mentioning health effects. Those who tried to speak out faced imprisonment or worse. Meanwhile, international pressure mounted. The world demanded answers about Chernobyl, but Soviet officials maintained their lies. Only 31 people died, they claimed. The real casualty numbers? They were buried deeper than the radioactive waste. Medical records documenting radiation sickness were systematically destroyed. Hospital logs showing liquidator deaths simply vanished from existence. Doctors who treated radiation victims were transferred to remote locations. The Soviet machine had turned its most devastating weapon not on enemies, but on truth itself. While 600,000 liquidators suffered in silence, their sacrifice became the state's most guarded secret. Decades later, the true cost of heroism began to emerge. The 600,000 liquidators who answered the call were about to face their deadliest enemy yet. Cancer struck like a silent epidemic. Thyroid cancer rates among liquidators soared to 20 times the national average. Leukemia, lung cancer, brain tumors. The invisible killer they had fought at Chernobyl was now destroying them from within. By 2006, estimates suggested that 112,000 liquidators had already died from radiation-related illnesses. The Soviet Union that had sent them to their fate no longer existed, but the radiation in their bodies remained eternal. Legal battles erupted across former Soviet states. Liquidators fought not radiation but bureaucracy, demanding recognition for their sacrifice. Many died waiting for compensation that never came. Others received payments so meager they couldn't afford their cancer treatments. In Ukraine, liquidators receive roughly $50 per month. In Russia, even less. The price of heroism, it seems, is poverty. Today, experts estimate that fewer than 200,000 of the original 600,000 liquidators remain alive. The survivors, now in their 60s and 70s, carry more than memories. They carry radioactive isotopes that will outlive them. As Chernobyl's 40th anniversary approaches, these forgotten heroes face their final battle. Not against radiation, but against time itself.